Hello, everyone. This is Shane Lynn, MacArthur Museum of Arkansas Military History, and glad to be back with you with our Zoom interview series. This one is a very special one to me. We have a Little Rock native, Steve Dean. He's now out of Nashville. He's a singer-songwriter. You have probably heard many of his songs that he has co-written. He has actually written 6 number 1 hits for country music, including Watching You for Rodney Atkins, It Takes a Little Rain for the Oak Ridge Boys, Southern Star for Alabama, Roundabout Way for George Strait, Hearts Are Made to Break for Lee Greenwood, and Walk On by Reba McEntire. He's also had 2 number 1 bluegrass hits. But today I've asked him to come on and talk about an organization he is a part of called Freedom Sings USA. And we'll get to that in a moment. But Steve, first of all, thank you so much for being with us. As I said, you are a Little Rock native. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and growing up and how you got involved in the music writing business?
Well, thank you, Shane. It's thanks for having me. I appreciate it, man. Well, I grew up in Little Rock. I was born there. Actually, the music bug hit me at an early age when I saw the Beatles. Music bug, Beatles, no pun intended necessarily, but I got to see them on television. And I come from a musical background. My family, my mother especially, was a really accomplished pianist, and my dad is a writer. He wrote like histories of churches and things like that. He'd like to write a story about you, and then it would be something that would get in People magazine or something. But anyway, so really from that early age of seeing the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, I thought, you know what, I think I want to do music. I want to learn how to play the guitar. So the first thing I did was got a guitar, started learning how to play it. And then time went on, and all through schools, college, I went to the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, got a degree in there. And all this time, though, I've been writing. And one day I thought, I was single at the time. This would have been in about 1982, and I decided to move to Nashville to pursue a songwriting career. My father was actually very instrumental in that too. He said, you ought to go over there and see if you can get an established artist to record your songs. And I thought, wow, Dad, that's a really great idea.
Well, great. And I know a lot of people are happy that you did because they enjoy the songs that you co-written.
Yeah, but I still think about Little Rock every single day of my life, and I'm thankful to be here in Little Rock. You're in Little Rock too, right?
Right.
Well, I'm thankful to be back in Little Rock right now. I was there this past weekend, and
well, you were here at the museum, in fact,
right,
with Freedom Sings USA, and we'll talk about it in a moment. Well, that can lead us into Freedom Sings USA. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that organization and how you got involved with it? You don't mind?
Okay. Well, Freedom Sings USA is a nonprofit, and we're based out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And what we do is we pair professional songwriters with veterans, active military, and their families to help them tell their stories through song. So Don Goodman and myself and a lady named Bobby Standifer co-founded Freedom Sings USA. And we've been doing this for a good time, about 5 years, I guess. We were part of another organization and we branched off from them and became Freedom Sings USA.
Well, you were here, as I said, I think it was last Friday.
Right.
And you worked with some folks. And can you walk us through the process, how you get paired with a veteran and how things go from there?
Okay. In Little Rock, well, anywhere in the United States, really, we are starting to become a national organization. Michael Dobbs at the Voluntary Services over at the VA he's in our corner big time, and we love working with Michael. And so what he does is we organize what we call a retreat, and we will get, if there's 5 veterans, we will bring 5 songwriters, professional songwriters from Nashville with us, and we'll come in to the city. We'll have a meet and greet the Friday night usually, and then on Saturday we'll have a breakfast, and then all the veterans have paired off with the songwriters. That's what happens usually at the meet and greet. We play songs that night, and people get an idea of what style of music we do. And so the next morning on Saturday, we all pair off and we go and write from usually about 10 to 1 o'clock. Is usually a 3-hour session. And the veteran tells his story. And in our situation, Don Goodman is, he interviews the veterans, and he gets them to tell their story. And he's a great lyricist. So what he'll do is he can look at some lines that we write down everything they say. And he will see a line in there and he'll say, man, that would be a great title for this song. Or that line's got to be in the song somewhere. I do the music. I work on lyric too, but mostly music is what I do. And in this situation, and so I'll ask the veteran what kind of music they like. Well, they might say, well, I like 60s R&B or something like that. A Vietnam veteran. I like Creedence Clearwater. I love them, or I like Michael Jackson, and they might even tell me the name of a band that I'd never heard of before. And I'll just go out and outside the room there and listen to that band, and then I'll get an idea of what type of music they like. So that's my goal, is to get the music, get the song not to sound like Creedence Clearwater, but it's in that ballpark, and it's like, it gives it that, it's the era. I'm trying to find the era that they want to cling to. So I love that too. That has really expanded my brain, thinking about all these different kinds of genres. I mean, we've written big band songs, we've written R&B. We've done maybe one rap, not too many raps, but we'll take on anything.
Right. Well, one that's fresh in my memory is, I think I shared with you that I recently interviewed Bruce Weston for a Zoom interview. He's, a Vietnam veteran who was a photographer who, a large part of our Vietnam collection has his photographs. Yeah. And actually I just posted his video that he did with you all, the song and the lyrics. And I assume you had a hand in with the music on that video, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So that's it's a powerful song, and it's really well done. And so
thank you. I perform that song all over the country when I'm out doing shows, because I want to talk about Freedom Sings. Ask if there's any veterans in the room. I'll thank them for their service, and then I say, I'd like to do this song for you. This was a man that is a friend of my father's. Really, Bruce and my dad were friends, and my dad told me, he said, Steve, Bruce was in Vietnam. And I was like, I didn't even know. And so, and I found out that he was a war photographer, and that even blew my mind more. So I remember one Sunday I was in Little Rock, and I bumped into Bruce out in the church hallways, and I said, man, I'm working with this organization called Freedom Sings USA. We're writing songs with veterans. Your story would make a fantastic song. And he goes, well, okay, Steve. He goes, let me think about it. So I left. About Wednesday that week, he called me. He said, you know what, I want to do it. So Bruce was actually the first song that we wrote in Little Rock.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
For a veteran and for Freedom Sings.
And it's powerful, the title, but the main, we shot the pictures, they shot the gun. Yeah. It's very powerful.
It's very, very powerful. I mean, just the thought of that in my mind, being out there, he had a pistol on his hip, but he had a 35 millimeter camera, and his job was to photograph everything. I mean, he was in the line of fire too. I mean,
was Mr. Goodman in on that one as well?
Oh yeah, Don and me.
I can imagine him just seeing that and getting all kinds, because the lyrics that came out of that were just powerful.
Yeah. Don and I are a team. We're a songwriting team for Freedom Sings. When we do retreats, he and I write together all the time, and then we bring other writers in too.
Well, it was very powerful work, and Bruce mentioned that in his interview, how it helped him with some issues, and I think this is the point of this is to get veterans to help them work through some issues. that they have.
Absolutely, man.
It's a way of healing. You know, they say music heals the soul.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's unbelievable how what a life-changing thing it's been for me.
well, I was going to say for you, it must be very rewarding and gratifying to know that you're able to, with your take your talents and your skills, and to help veterans.
It's I always knew when growing up, I mean, there's always a war going, it seems like. I was too young for Vietnam.
Right.
Most of those guys are, I've met some that are just a few years older than me, but most of them are around 10 years older than me. So I was too young. It ended. Um, and I always knew there was a war going on, but I had no idea what veterans went through. And when they came home, how, especially Vietnam, how terrible they were treated.
Right.
So to me, and Jerry, I'll mention Jerry's name because Jerry was the first Vietnam veteran in Chattanooga that actually we wrote his song. He was the first one, and I was thinking, man, this is what are we going to do? They're not talking. Nobody's talking, So finally, Don said, "Does somebody have anything to say?" And Jerry goes, "I got some poems." And Don said, "Do you want to read them?" He goes, "Nope, you read them."
Right.
And so he started reading these poems, and I mean, tears were streaming down our faces. I mean, we couldn't believe it. and over the next few weeks, Jerry, if Jerry was to walk into my studio right now, where I am right now, and I'd just say, "Shane, excuse me a minute," and I'd have to go back there and we'd wrestle. I mean, we're such good friends. It's more than friends. It's not even friends. Isn't even touch it really. There's a kindred brotherhood thing and they know I'm not a veteran, and it's just, yeah, it's more than gratitude for me to be able to help these people. I mean, it's more than that. I can't explain it. It's just over the top incredible, really.
Right. Well, I'm glad there's your organization and there's Freedom Sings USA and other organizations out there that are helping our veterans. And I should say, it's just not our veterans. This is open to active duty as well, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We don't have as many active duty, but yeah, they're definitely. I mean, the missions. I'll just read the mission statement. It just says, "Freedom Sings USA helps veterans, active duty military, and their families throughout the country reach emotional balance by telling their stories through the creative process of songwriting." So, and a lot of times they don't really know exactly what they're getting into, but man, once they get started and Don starts interviewing them and we start finding out, they are telling stuff to us, telling their inner gut feelings and their heart and their emotional experiences. A lot of times they haven't ever told anybody that. It's something about when the guitar comes out and we start strumming a few chords and, singing a melody and the stories about them, it's amazing. And I'm so thankful for it. I truthfully am. I mean, it is truly amazing.
Hickory Museum, we are thankful for you and your organization, and we're always here, as you know, to help and to host. Now, you mentioned earlier that you're starting to expand. As you expand, are you having to recruit more singer-songwriters? Are you doing that?
Oh, yeah.
It's not very hard. This is such a great organization that there's probably a lot of folks out there that are willing to take this on.
Yeah, it's as we move. See, here's the difference. I mean, in Nashville, of course, there's almost an unlimited supply. Now, the songwriters have to have the heart for this. I mean, it's a whole different deal than going down to Music Row and making up a song, because none of these songs are made up. They're all real. Every word is real. Every word has to be true, and the veteran has to say, "Okay, it's a song. All those words are what I want it to say." Boom. And when we're going, like when we go to Colorado, are going down to we're going down to Huntsville, Alabama here pretty soon. We're starting up a franchise, not a franchise,
Chapter, maybe?
yeah, chapter. Thank you. We're starting up a chapter down there, and we're going to probably have classes. Well, you really in the classes you really need like Don and me, for example, are constant. We're a constant thing. The veterans are they know we're going to be there. So in other words, instead of having a different songwriter every week or something, now when we do, we are looking for writers who can take these classes, some of these classes, and that would be, like if they would drive to Huntsville, maybe if Don and I couldn't do it, for example, if
Right.
Don and I were somewhere else, So we are looking. We have a lot of songwriters that we've worked with in the past, and that we are working with now. We've recruited a new songwriter just today, as a matter of fact, to go down to Huntsville to do this retreat coming up.
That's
So
awesome.
we're constant. Excuse me. We're constantly looking, and like I said, it takes a special. It takes a special person to, really put their heart and soul in this. And there's
Right.
plenty of them that will. There's plenty of them that will.
Do you feel as a songwriter, it has helped you with your other songwriting
Oh,
projects?
absolutely. I mean, it's helped me thinking about, like when we're working with the veterans, we want, I mean, and Don and me are both the same on this as far as lyrics go. When it's, it's got to sing right. It's got to sing like it's meant to be. You know what I mean? It's like, um, if there's too many words in the line, for example, and it starts sounding all cluttered up, you're trying to sing too many words in, trying to sing it too quick, um, it doesn't feel right. And so, and I've seen this happen in Nashville songs too, when they're just making something up, and somebody will have a line, and it's a good line, but it's got too many words in it. So, I mean, and this is just a process I've been doing over all these years. I'm next February will be my 40th anniversary here, which I can't believe. But all this time has helped me, and it also helps me with working with the veterans. And when we got a new melody going with a lyric that we've started, sometimes the melody, the second verse might come along, and the melody of the first verse, all of a sudden the words don't seem to fit in like they did in the first verse. So that's when we start editing, and it's just a process, but it really is great, because when you got to get it that way, it's got to be right.
Right.
So I translate that into writing songs down on Music Row. It's got to be right.
Exactly. And we talked about how involved you are with Freedom Sings USA, but would you like to talk about maybe, or could you share some other projects that you're working on, or upcoming things that we might hear from you?
Yeah. Okay. Well, mainly the project is songwriting. I'm in a trio that goes out and does. It's mainly for live shows. It's called Hits and Grins. We've been in Little Rock too. We brought it to Little Rock before. There's a record company, friends of ours. It's a independent record label that some friends of ours started up, and they asked me if I would come record some of my hits, my versions of the songs that were on the radio. So I said, well, yeah, let's try it. It'd be fun. It's all for fun. I mean, really. And so I chose Fast Lanes and Country Roads for a song that Barbara Mandrell, I had a hit with her back in the mid 80s, I think. And Dierks Bentley also did a version of it on Barbara Mandrell's, they did an album for her to, what do you call it? Just to say thank you, Barbara. They did a lot of her songs, and a bunch of artists came together and did that. And Dirks happened to sing mine, and that's been fun. It's not something that but songwriting and Freedom Sings is really my top priority.
Right.
I mean, it's not totally full time yet, but it kind of is, because I'm constantly thinking about it. And everywhere I go, I talk about it. I can't help it.
And you should. It's such a great organization.
Yeah.
And for people who are wanting more information about it, we usually tell them to go to the website, but anymore it's easier for people just to go to their search engines, and type in Freedom Sings USA, and that will take them to your website. It's a great website, and Facebook.
Yeah.
Gives you great information. It's a great website, great Facebook page. It gives you all kinds of information. If people are interested and they want to contact you, there's a place for that.
Yeah.
And so it's just wonderful. It's a great program. And I thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to visit with us and help spread the word about Freedom Sings USA. And
yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you having us. And I mean, it's an ongoing thing, and we're trying to help as many veterans as we possibly can. And that's a big, tall order, but we're just going to keep going. It is a wonderful organization, and the camaraderie of it all, and when we have hopefully we're going to get to start our in-person classes again, which we actually drive to Chattanooga.
Right.
We've been doing Zoom for the last 18 months because of COVID, but in the classroom before class gets started, I mean, I can't wait to see everybody and talk to everybody. It's a wonderful thing, and it helps me a lot, but I know it helps the veterans too, and that's the main goal. And like I said, we want to help all veterans that we can.
Right. Like I said, well, we appreciate you for all that you do, and I look forward to seeing you again in Little Rock.
All right, Shane. Well, thank you, brother. Yeah, we'll see you. I'm not sure when I'm going to be back next, but I'll hopefully get to see you when I get there.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. See ya.